Yo, what's up? It's your boy Six, and welcome back to another no setup card trick tutorial. Today's effect comes from Karl Fulves yet again, but I had to do some digging for this one. So while I was home going through some old books and notes, I came across this one. It's an effect titled Cheat Feet from Karl Fulves that was originally published in 1999, and a pamphlet was a series of pamphlets titled Later Day Secrets. I like the effect because it's self-working, has very minimal dealing, but the dealing itself is actually justified by the presentation of dealing out poker hands, so I really like that a lot. I just felt it was missing a few things, specifically at the beginning of the effect, that really sell what's taking place. So I'm going to be teaching you a series of concepts that you can apply to this effect as well as other effects that you may be performing because they're universal. So they're really major ideas that you should be aware of on your journey in Magic. So with that being said, let's take a look at the performance and get right into the tutorial. Alright, so let's take a look at Cheat Feet by Karl Fulves. Now, this effect doesn't even use a full deck. It simply uses 20 cards. That's enough for 4 poker hands, so we took out 20 cards for that. Let's say, just say I had a few people here. I have this person shuffle some cards, this person shuffle, they shuffle. It really doesn't matter. They can shuffle their cards together, just like this. Or if I just had 2 people, one would shuffle on one side. Doesn't make a difference, one on the other. You get the idea. Not only that, we'll go ahead and we'll add like a nice little display just like this here. So now we got 2 beautiful displays, and I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these cards together as well, just like that. So you get the idea. These cards are now mixed. I can, listen, we'll throw in an overhand for good measure, just like this, and we are ready to begin. And like I said, I'm going to be dealing 2 poker hands, and I don't have to deal the cards. I can have the spectators actually deal the cards, and I would hand them the cards. But since I don't have one, I'll do the dealing. I'm going to deal out 2 poker hands just like this. So about 5 cards and 5 cards. And the cards have been shuffled. They're in a random order. And I'm going to have the spectator look at their top card. And they're going to remember this card here. I'm just going to make sure it's in focus for you there. Perfect. So they get that card. And I'm going to drop my cards on top and drop the rest of the packet on top as well. And another poker hand. Like I said, 4 poker hands. So deal the cards out just like this. And the spectator will now look at their card. And that's the selected card for this person. And again, I'll drop the cards on top, losing it into the pack. And now the cards have been mixed. And I'm going to split the packet in 2, just like this. And I'm going to do what's called unshuffling cards. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but I'll show you what it looks like. The cards get mixed in together just like this. Watch very carefully. And you actually see the cards unshuffle themselves. However, they didn't just unshuffle anyway. What I ended up doing was actually unshuffled all the black cards all the way over here, except for 1 card, the red card, your selection, the 3 of hearts. And I unshuffled all the red cards to this side, except for 1 card, your card, the jack of clubs. And that, my friends, is Cheat Feet by Karl Fulves. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the explanation for the effect. I'm going to start by showing you 2 things that I added to this effect. And these are tools that you're going to use across many effects. It's one's a false shuffle, which you can use obviously at any time you have to do a false shuffle. I think it particularly looks really good with a small packet of cards. That's why I added it here. And then the next thing is an overhand shuffle to maintain a red-black order, because part of this effect is that the cards will be half black, half red that you pull out of the deck. So you're going to go through the deck of cards in the performance, no setup, shuffle deck. You're just gonna take out a bunch of cards. So I'm gonna take out some cards for poker hands, take out 10 random red cards, 10 random black cards, and you're ready and set to perform. So your setup for this effect is to get 10 red and 10 black cards and have them separated like you see here. It doesn't matter if the red is on top or the bottom, it doesn't make a difference as long as you have this setup. Now let's take a look at the 2 moves that we use. They're essentially ways to false shuffle and maintain this order before you begin the effect. The first is the Leonard Green Rosetta Shuffle, the false Rosetta Shuffle I should say, and the second is what's known as the Ireland Shuffle, which is actually the Red-Black Shuffle by Charles Jordan. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. The first one we're looking at is called the false Rosetta Shuffle from Leonard Green. The Rosetta Shuffle can be done as a real shuffle or a false shuffle, and I'm teaching you the false shuffle now. So for this effect, we're going to have 2 separate packets just like this. We're going to have the reds and the blacks. I'm going to place the blacks on the right hand side just like this, and I'm going to turn it face up for the instructions so you have an idea of what's going on. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to start twirling this packet, and this is where that Rosetta title comes in, just like this. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that that top card of this packet is in such a position that when I can press down on it, it's going to be flush with the table, so that there'll be no cards sticking out underneath it. So I don't want it here, I don't want it here, I want it flush, just like this at the bottommost corner, or any corner really. So it could be this corner as well, as long as I can press it flush with the table. That's what's important. The same is going to happen on this side. I'm going to twirl the packet around like this to give it that Rosetta, but I want to make sure that I can see the bottommost card, because that's going to help me in just a second. So my left hand is going to be placed on top of this packet as if I'm going to push it together, but I'm going to be pressing down with my pinky. And you notice when I press down with my pinky here, I just want to make sure you can see that. When I press down with my pinky here, it actually lifts up the cards a little bit from the other side, because I'm on a mat, it's a soft surface. If you're not on a soft surface, I'd recommend bowing the cards, and I will talk about that more in just a second. But I'm going to press down, and now I get that to lift up. My right hand is going to press down here, but my thumb is going to be on the topmost card, pressing that flush to the table, so that when I push these cards together, that I'm paying attention to that topmost card, or that corner. So I'm going to use this corner here with the queen so you can see it. And I'm going to get it underneath that bottommost card. Once it is underneath that bottommost card, I can then take the top cards of the left hand, the face down portion, and just cover it just a little bit by pushing it over. So it looks like I just pushed the cards together. I can let go and say, look, we'll shuffle the cards together. And now when I push those cards together, it's going to ride those face up cards underneath the packet. And because of the Rosetta shuffle, it really looks like the cards are mixed, and it gives it a good illusion. But really all we did was just place the other packet underneath the bottom. So when you do it face down, it is much cleaner, obviously, because it all blends together. So the same idea, I'm going to spread it around just like this. Make sure I have a good corner that I can go to. I'm going to spread this packet around as well, paying attention to the bottommost card. Hand goes on top. I'm going to press down on the right side here, just like this. The left side is going to press down there, lifting that packet up. Push the cards together. Once I do that, my left hand pushes a few cards over. I can let go and then say, look, we'll shuffle all the cards together just like this. And now it creates the illusion of the cards being mixed together, but really you're still keeping the red-black separation, which is really important for this effect. So one quick note on the Rosetta shuffle, if you have a hard surface, this is a soft surface and you really can't press down with this. I'm going to throw that away. Hope I don't mess up my microphone. But I'm going to separate the packets like this. Now what do we do if we're in this position and we have to shuffle and I can't press and that doesn't lift? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 10 cards and I'm going to give a little quick bow as I go to drop it on table. Just do a little bend like that and drop it on table. And what that is I'm going to press my index finger down. I'm going to squeeze the packet, pushing my index finger down, and just adding a little bend to the cards over here. And then I'll drop this packet over here. I'm going to spin these cards. And now, because of that procedure, remember I have to get this flat to the table. Same idea, I'm pressing down here. But because I put that little bow in it, now I can press down. And now there's going to be a little lip that bends that portion up, right? So I see that little shadow kicking up. So by doing that, I now know that that card has a bow in it. I can press down. As long as this goes in flat like this, push these cards over, say watch carefully, and now I can still do it on a flat surface. Just in case you don't have a soft surface, that is the way in which you can do it on a hard tabletop. All right, so let's talk about what's called the Ireland Shuffle. However, it's actually should be credited to Charles Jordan, according to Conjuring Credits. They mentioned that the Ireland Shuffle was originally attributed to Laurie Island by Ed Marlowe in 1962. However, this shuffle actually predates that back to 1919 by Charles Jordan, known as the Red Black Shuffle, in a book called 30 Card Mysteries, page 27. So I think that's fascinating little information there, because you get some the real source. So we're going to credit called the Red Black Shuffle, credit to Charles Jordan as the most recent update to that. But amongst magicians, it's still popularly known as the Ireland Shuffle, so you should know it as that name as well. What it basically enables you to do is to shuffle a packet with half red, half black, and yet they'll still maintain the half red, half black order. It usually works better with a full deck, but I apply it here with a small packet as well. So I'm going to use the full deck to give you the example. So I'm going to place these black cards here, place these red cards here. And now you can see the deck is separated red, black, red, black. And all I'm going to do is just simply give the cards an overhand shuffle. And you can see that the cards really do get mixed, so just like this. And these are really a good thorough shuffle. And you can give it 2 shuffles if you want, doesn't really matter. So give the cards a shuffle just like this, and you can see the cards really do get mixed in chunks. It doesn't make any difference, but what that does is it still maintains the red-black separation of the cards. And I just simply apply it to this small packet. So let's talk about it with the full deck first, because this is a resource that you're going to use over and over again, regardless, for any trick in which you have 2 packets, the deck separated into 2 packets. So let's start with the reds on top. Because of this shuffle, I'm going to turn these face up so you get a better idea here. And here's what's going to happen. Because these cards are okay to be shuffled, I just need that half to be red, I can really mix this top portion. So once I get to about the middle, or I see them coming to the middle, the only thing that has to change here, now these are all in chunks, 2s, 3s, 4s, doesn't matter, I'm just overhand shuffling. Once I get to about the center, then I want to run single cards one at a time, because you're going to see what happens. It keeps the order, because that's where the mix will start taking place. And then once I get past the center, or I know I'm past the center, then I can just simply go back to doing regular overhand shuffles. And that just separates the packet still. It's mixing this packet and this packet independently of each other. So if I wanted to do a full reset, let's just say I just wanted to keep it split, I could just do it once and I'm still able to perform. Or if I wanted to bring the red back to the top for whatever reason, I just do a second shuffle where I just mix the cards, and then I go into singles, and then I can go ahead and go into chunks, and I still have the separation of the cards. So it would be red black. So face down, it's obviously much more deceiving, but that is the Ireland shuffle. Let's talk about applying it to a 20 card packet. So here we are with a smaller packet of cards, the reds on top, blacks on the bottom. And for this particular effect that we're performing, it doesn't matter which is on top or which on the bottom. So you can either do shuffle simply once, or you can do it twice. It's really up to you. I'll just do it once. I just do a regular overhand shuffle of a few cards. Once I get to about the half, I'm going to start doing singles, do a few singles, and then I can do chunks again. And then that's going to leave me with the red-black separation. All right, so now that you know those 2 shuffles, those are the 2 shuffles that I use to add to enhance this effect, because in the original, there is no shuffling of the procedure. In the beginning, you take out the cards and you start the effect, and I feel like that was just what was missing. There was no procedure. I like to get 4 people involved, so I'll hand 5 cards over here, 5 cards over here. It doesn't have to be 5. It could be 3 and 7, as long as the 10 cards are on one side and 10 cards on the other side. Each person shuffles their packet. Then I tell these 2 people to shuffle their cards together, tell them to shuffle their cards together, and I'll take one back from somebody else, and then I'll go ahead and do the Rosetta shuffle like this. As we covered, press down just like this, say look, we'll square the cards up, shuffle them all together. So you shuffled, you shuffle, you shuffle, we all shuffled, all of them get mixed together. If you don't have 4 spectators, simply hand 10 cards on this side, 10 cards on this side, let them shuffle, then do the same procedure. Now, how do we perform this effect? Well, the cards are going to be situated in the red-black shuffle. You did your Rosetta shuffle, you threw in your Island shuffle if you like. People shuffle the cards. They don't know it's mixed red-black, and that's what makes this effect so special. For the climax, because that's shuffling. In the original, again, there was no shuffling. But when a climax and the cards separate red-black, you should have the spectator shuffling the cards, because it really makes it even more amazing. The only thing you have to do to make this trick work is displace 1 card. So I need to get 1 card from the top to the bottom. So if I wanted to do that, I can, one way in which I can do that is by using the double undercut. So I get a break under the top card. I take a small packet from the bottom, place it on top of the card, maintaining that break. Take this and place it on top, and now I just simply did a double undercut and transferred 1 card from the top to the bottom. I did say this is a self-working effect, and that is a move. So to remove the move, so to speak, to make it self-working, what I would do, and this is my suggestion if you don't want to do that, or you don't know how to do it, is this. I use a ploy. I say, in a second, I'm going to deal the cards, and we're going to play a poker hand, and you're going to look at a card and remember it. And that's it. That's the move that I added to this to make it completely self-working. I want to get that top card to the bottom, so I say, in a second, we're going to play a hand. I'm going to deal some cards to you back and forth, and we're going to play a little poker hand, and you'll look at 1 card and remember it. And I use the dealing of 1 card as I'm talking as an explanation piece to get me 1 card to the bottom, and now I am ready to perform. And now that I'm ready to perform, all I have to do, I got 1 card to the bottom, I'm going to deal. Here's what happens. You can hand the cards to the spectator and let them deal, because normally, in a poker hand, the dealer always deals to the person to their left first, and they go around. Or if I'm dealing with somebody, I would normally deal to them first. However, for this effect to work, I have to deal to myself first. So if you have the spectator deal, say, yeah, deal 1 to me, deal to you like you would a normal poker hand, that makes sense. If for some reason you don't feel comfortable letting the spectator deal, simply deal to yourself first. Say, look, I'll deal out some cards, some poker hands. Don't call any issue to it. Just do it quickly and nobody's gonna really care. So, but the key for you is to remember that you deal to yourself. And because that the one card was displaced, that means the top cards are 9 black cards. And this 10th card, the last card that I dealt, which came from the middle, would be a red card. So these are all gonna be black. So you can check your position, and then this would be a red card. You don't have to know this for the actual effect to work. It'll still work. So in this case, I have the 3 of hearts, and I had them say, look at their top card. They remember it, and the next thing you have to do is drop your packet on top of theirs. So you remember, always begin with you. What does that mean? I deal to me, I drop my packet on top. If you remember that, that's the procedure, right? I dealt to myself first, and then I'm gonna drop my packet on top. So they look at the card, they saw it, and they say, look, we'll cover it up, we'll lose it, just like this, into the pack. If they had the packet, I would just say, look, we'll cover up the card, lose yours in the middle, drop my packet on top. So you drop your cards on top in your hand, which they dealt, and then I would go from there, and then pass the card to the next person. You really don't have to touch the cards to make this work. Again, the next person, I deal to myself first, same procedure. And this is why we use 20 cards. So 5 and 5, same idea. They take a look at the top card. They remember that card. And the same thing, I drop my packet on top, and then drop the rest of the cards on top. And now the trick is essentially done. It's already set up for you. All I have to do is take the top 10 cards. You can either deal them or just count off 3, 5, 3, and 5. Separate them, and at this point, you can legitimately just turn them face up, and the trick is over, right? It's already done. It's already separated and good to go. So all you have to do is take the top cards off. I add in that little touch from Tyler Wilson, which is known as unshuffling the cards. He does it as part of a presentation ploy for Triumph, which is fantastic. Well, I think it was a color set. No, it was for Triumph. He does it in Triumph, yeah. Which I just thought was gorgeous. All I do is shuffle the cards together, pick them up at the corners like this, and then once I'm holding them here, I relax my fingers to let the cards look like they unshuffle. And now I can say the cards now have unshuffled themselves and separated all the blacks here with one red card, all the reds here with your card, the 8 of spades, and you have a fantastic effect. If you don't want to do that variation, right? So this is just a nice little touch I think I add. It looks really cool with a full deck of cards. So shout out to Tyler Wilson for that. Another way of doing this, if you don't want to practice that move, you could just do a push through and say, look, we'll shuffle the cards together, and watch the cards very carefully as I pull them through just like this, all the cards. And in that shuffling procedure, it looked like I did nothing, but really I separated all the cards, so all the reds on one side, all the blacks on the other, except for one card here, your card, the 3 of hearts, one card here, your card, the 8 of spades. And that's a great way to climax the effect. So there you have it. Again, if you don't want to do any shuffling procedure, just simply deal 10 cards into a pile, say I'll snap my fingers and all the cards here, and you're done. It's that simple. It's a cool little effect. What I like about this effect is the presentational ploy, because how do you make 20 cards seem logical? Well, we're going to deal 4 poker hands, right? So I'm going to have 5 and 5, that's 10 cards, 5 and 5 is 10 cards. Do you deal all 4 hands at the same time? No, but it looks like you dealt 2 here, 2 here, so it seems like there were 4 hands of poker involved, and it makes sense for having 20 cards. So if you have any concern about that, just mention we're using 20 cards because we're going to be using 4 poker hands. Say here we'll have 2 hands here, we'll play each other, and we'll have another 2 hands here and play each other, and that's a great way to go into performing this effect. Again, borrowed shuffle deck, just go in, take out 10 red cards, 10 black cards, place them on top of each other. You can have them shuffled, do all that procedure, and then go into this effect. It's a simple, wonderful self-working effect, but I think it's really, really cool because there's no setup, and that ending is really beautiful. When you end with those packets like that, you flip them face up and the cards are mixed. Just one card in the red packet, one card in the black packet, and it really stands out. It looks really pretty, and I think it's just a wonderful display. And you guys know I talk about this all the time, having wonderful displays in Magic. So there you have it, another wonderful effect from Karl Fulves.
Pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my